There is a moment in every manifestation journey, a moment people don't talk about, don't admit, don't post on social media. The moment where you look at everything you have been doing, the journaling, the affirmations, the visualizing, the scripting, and you whisper to yourself, why isn't anything of this working? Not angrily, not loudly, more like a quiet exhaust whisper you're almost ashamed of. You feel guilty for even thinking it because everywhere you look online, you see people saying, just believe, just trust the universe, just be positive, and you're thinking, I am believing, I am trusting, I am trying. But it still feels like the universe is silent. And here's the raw truth. I wish someone told me years ago. Your manifestation isn't missing. Just understand, friends, you're just holding the energy that repels it. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because trauma, survival pattern, and emotional memory distort your vibrations. Tonight, I want to pull you into a story, a real human, unfiltered story about the moment my entire manifestation reality flipped. Not because I found a new technique, not because I forced myself believe harder, but because a shift that most people never learn in their entire lifetime. And if you stay with me through this full video, I promise you will feel your energy change while you're listening. Not after, not later. Right here during this. This is the story of how I moved from desperation to alignment, from fear to trust, from waiting to receiving. And this is the story that will show you exactly how do the same. The night everything broke open. I still remember the exact moment it happened. The moment my manifestation delay finally made sense. It was late, the kind of late where the world is quiet enough for you to hear your own thoughts. And uncomfortable even that you can't run from them. I was sitting on my floor surrounded by pages of manifestation journal. Each page filled with words I had written with hope, with intention, with belief. But as I looked at those pages, I felt nothing, not excitement, not trust, just emptiness. A numb, heavy emptiness that settled in my chest, like the weight of all times life didn't go the way I hoped. And then the thought came, what if I am doing all of this for nothing? It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't hopeless, it was just real. A quiet, honest thought. And in that exact moment, something inside me cracked wide open. I started remembering all the times I had been disappointed, the promises people broke, the moment I felt unworthy, the years I spent surviving instead of living. I still remember the nights I cried and told myself it didn't matter, the times I acted strong when I wasn't, the part of me I buried so I could keep functioning. And suddenly it hit me. I wasn't manifesting my desires. I was manifesting my trauma. Not consciously, not intentionally, but energetically. I was trying to attract abundance with a nervous system trained for survival. These are very deep, friends. Trying to attract love with a heart still afraid of abandonment. Trying to attract opportunities with a mind conditioned to expect disappointment. I realized something most people will never admit. Because this is something which people never post on social media. They don't even agree with themselves. Forget about sharing with others. I didn't actually believe I deserved the things I was asking for. Not fully, not deeply, not in my subconscious. And that's when I understood my manifestations weren't delayed, they were blocked. They were simply blocked. Blocked by the energy I carried from old stories, old wounds, old identities. Blocked by the version of me who learned to expect almost to settle for close enough. To fear receiving too much because losing it would hurt more. And for the first time in my entire journey, I saw clearly manifestation is not about convincing the universe. It's about convincing yourself you are worthy of what you are asking for. In that moment, everything shifted. So there I was, sitting on the floor, surrounded by the pieces of my own spiritual efforts, the pages, the affirmations, the scripts. And for the first time ever, I wasn't trying to fix anything. No, I wasn't forcing myself into a positive vibration. I wasn't pretending I was okay. I just sat there fully honest, and something strange happened. The silence didn't feel empty anymore. It felt revealing. Like the universe had been whispering the answer the whole time, and I had finally gone quiet enough to hear it. I wasn't a voice, it wasn't a sign, it wasn't some mythical flash or light. It was a realization that hit me with a softness that almost made me cry. You have been manifesting from the wrong identity, not wrong desires, not wrong affirmations, just the wrong version of me. I had been asking the universe for the things the old me didn't believe they could have. And the universe wasn't saying no, it was saying, I can't deliver this to the version of you who doesn't think they are worthy. That version of me, the one sitting on the floor, still carried fear in their body, still carried memories in their nervous system, still carried doubts printed into their energy field. I was trying to manifest miracles with the vibration of survival. But manifestation doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being. And in that moment, I realized something massive. I didn't need a new manifestation technique. Nah, I needed a new identity. Not an identity built on the past, but an identity built on the future I wanted to step into. The old version of me was always seeking signs, proofs, reassurance, seeking timelines. I didn't realize that seeking is the energy of lack. It says, I don't have it yet, I don't feel worthy yet, I don't trust the process yet. And the universe mirrors that energy perfectly. Because you can make mistakes, but universe will never make mistakes. But the identity of the receiver, that identity doesn't chase, doesn't doubt, doesn't check the clock. The energy of the receiver says, it's already mine, I'm just aligning to meet it. That night on the floor, for the first time ever, I stopped trying to manifest from the identity of the seeker and dropped into the energy of the receiver. I didn't force it, I didn't fake it. It washed over me like my entire spirit exhaled. I felt something shift, not in my mind but in my body. My shoulders relaxed, my chest softened, my breath slowed down, and then something unbelievable happened. Out of nowhere, a memory rose up, one I hadn't thought about in years. I was standing in my childhood kitchen, maybe 8 years old, I guess, holding a drawing I had made. I remember the excitement vibrating in my little body as I waited for someone to notice, for someone to say they were proud, for someone to validate that was what I created was good enough. But nobody did. Everyone was busy, everyone was distracted. And that tiny moment became a silent belief in my subconscious mind. My efforts aren't seen, what I created isn't valued. I am not enough to receive recognitions. That moment became a blueprint, a frequency, a vibration, and unknowingly I had been manifesting from that blueprint for years. Every time I wanted something big, my body remembered that moment. My energy remembered not being seen. My inner child remembered not being acknowledged. And it blocked everything. Not because I wasn't trying hard, but because a part of me still living in that old story. Suddenly everything clicked. Every delay, almost every time life gave me close but not quiet. It wasn't the universe withholding, it was me holding on to an identity that didn't match the things I wanted. You don't manifest when you repeat affirmations. You don't manifest when you visualize. You don't manifest when you believe harder. You manifest when your identity evolves to match the frequency of what you want. Your new reality cannot come to the version of you who is still living in fear, still attached to old pain, still expecting disappointments. That night I made a decision that would become the turning point of my entire journey. I am done manifesting from the wounded version of me. Starting now, I manifest from the version of me who already received everything. I closed my eyes and for the first time, I met my future self. Not as an idea, not as a visualization, but as an identity I could step into right now, this moment, right now. And the more I connected with that version, the more I felt my vibration dissolving. That was the beginning of everything. When I closed my eyes that night, something happened that I had never experienced before. I didn't visualize my future self, I felt them. It was like stepping into a room where the air vibrates differently, warm, certain, grounded, powerful. Not a fantasy, not a dream, not a wish, a presence. My future self wasn't smiling, wasn't speaking, wasn't trying to motivate me. They simply existed with a calmness I had never felt before. And then I realized my future self was separate from me. They were the version of me I had been avoiding stepping into. Why? Because choosing the version would mean letting go of everything familiar, my excuses, my stories, my fear, my insecurities, my old identities. And the truth is, the ego feels safer with a known pain than an unknown future. This is very deep. When I understand this, I got goosebumps, literally goosebumps. Because the ego feels safer with a known pain than an unknown future. I took a deep breath and said out loud, quietly but with intention, I am ready to become you. And this part is hard to explain with words, but it felt like my future self stepped forward and dissolved into me, not visually, energetically. My chest felt warm, my spine straightened, my breath deepened. I didn't feel like the old me anymore. I felt like someone who had already receiving everything I have ever asked for. Someone who had nothing to chase, nothing to fear, nothing to prove anyone. And with that, a new awareness settled into my mind. What you want is already yours. It's your energy that needs to catch up. Simple but powerful. It was the clearest inner knowing I had ever felt, and that's when the very first sign showed up. Most people expect signs to appear outside numbers, messages, synchronicities, but the real sign appear within. That night, my mind became calm in a way it had never been before. Not forced calm, not meditation calm, not affirmation calm, a natural stillness, like someone turned off the constant background noise that had followed me for years. No doubts, no fear, no what if it doesn't happen, no mental arguments. Just one signal alignment. I didn't realize until later that this calmness is the universe's first confirmation that your manifestation is on its way. Because when your identity changes, your vibration changes. When your vibration changes, your timeline shifts. When your timeline shifts, reality begins rearranging itself around you. That night, I didn't manifest money. I didn't manifest success. I didn't manifest a breakthrough. I manifested the version of me who creates those things, and that changed everything. People think that once you align, everything goes smoothly, but the universe has a pattern. Whenever you shift identities, it sends a test not to punish you, but to confirm whether the shift is real or not. And the universe is master in this test. The universe tested me the very next morning. I woke up feeling lighter, clearer, more present. I opened my eyes and felt gratitude before I even remember what I was grateful for. But then my phone buzzed, a message I didn't want, a situation that pulled me my old emotional triggers, something that would normally made me spiral, overthink, stress, react. I could feel the old me wanting to take over. It's like a different personality. Whenever you're trying to become a new version, the different personality will try to come again and again. The old me who was always anxious, the old me who was always scared to make a wrong move, the old me who lived in what I think and what if things go wrong. I sat on the edge of the bed and for a moment I slipped. I felt the old energy rising in my chest again. But then something powerful stopped me. It wasn't a mantra, it wasn't a discipline, it wasn't motivation, it was a voice. Not external voice, but my internal voice, the internal truth. That's not who you are anymore. And instantly the old reaction evaporated. I handled the situation calmly like the version of me I had stepped into the night before. That was the moment I knew the shift was real. Later that same day, something strange happened. A notification popped up from a place I least expected. An opportunity that had been stuck, paused, delay for months, suddenly moved. Not completed, not finished, not delivered, but it moved. A door that has been closed cracked open just slightly, and I knew exactly what it meant. My new timeline had begun. Reality was responding to the new identity. Because once you shift from the seeker to receiver, life doesn't ignore that vibration. Life rearranges itself around it. The moment that opportunity cracked open, I felt something inside me shift again. A deeper knowing, a clearer alignment, a certainty that wasn't forced or imagined. And that's when I realized something most people never understand. Your manifestation never arrives suddenly. You arrive at the version of you that finally able to receive it. Every delay, every frustration, every almost wasn't life punishing me. It was preparing me, preparing my vibrations, preparing my nervous system, preparing my identity to match the frequency of what I had been asking for. But the real breakthrough wasn't the opportunity moving, it was what happened after. Once I stepped into that identity, life didn't move slowly. It moved fast. You know how sometimes nothing happens for months and then everything happens at once. That was alignment feels like. Within a few days, small signs started popping up everywhere. A message from someone I hadn't spoken to in years, a chance encountered that delivered information I needed, a random moment of clarity that solved a problem I would be stuck on. Each sign was small, but energy doesn't speak in size, it speaks in directions. And all of them were pointing towards one truth. My life was no longer operating from the old timeline. I had shifted into the new one. But the biggest moment, the one that confirmed everything, came one evening when I least expected it. I wasn't visualizing, I wasn't scripting, I wasn't repeating affirmations. I was just living as the version of me who already had what I asked for. I didn't realize that this was the final step. Because manifestation doesn't happen when you want, or when you hope, or when you force positive thinking. It happens when your subconscious mind finally says, "This is who we are now." That evening, I checked something casually with no expectations, no anxiety, no depression, no desperation. And there it was, the confirmation, the result, the proof. The manifestation that had felt impossible for months was right there in front of me. Not a small sign, not a breadcrumb, not an almost, the actual thing. Yes, friends, I'm literally talking about the actual thing. The moment I had been imagining for months had finally shifted into my physical reality. And the wildest part, it didn't feel like a surprise, it felt like recognition. I didn't feel shocked. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I felt like the timeline finally caught up to the version of me I already became. Because when the identity aligns before the manifestation feels natural. It actually arrives exactly when you are ready. Not a second earlier, not a second later. People think manifestation is about repeating the right words, or forcing the right thoughts, or obsessing over positive mindset. But here's the truth, you don't manifest with your mind, you manifest with your identity. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are. What you believe you deserve, what you believe in is normal for you, what your nervous system is prepared to receive, what your inner child believes is possible, what your energy emits without effort. Once I shifted identities, the manifestation didn't take long, it took alignment. And that's when I understood the final truth. Nothing is taking long. You are just catching up to the version of you that already has it. After that moment, something in my soul settled. I didn't feel the need to chase anymore. I didn't feel the need to beg the universe for signs. I didn't feel the pressure to constantly stay high vibrational. Because now I knew manifestation isn't about maintaining perfection. It's about embodying a new identity so deeply that the old version of you simply can't survive anymore. You need to very powerful against that old version. This is the catch, my friend. This is the technique, the real technique. Since then, everything in my life began unfolding differently. Opportunities aligned faster, money flowed easier, people entered my life with purpose. I was literally happy. Decisions became clearer, obstacles dissolved quicker. Not because I became the luckier, but because I became aligned. Manifestation isn't a magic, it's identity physics. Yes, friends, you heard that right. It's identity physics. When the version of you matches the reality of your desire, life has no choice but to meet you there. And that's the part most people will never understand. Your manifestation shows up the moment you shows up as the version of you who already has them. That night on the floor, I didn't just change my life. I became the person who my new life was always waiting for. And that identity shift was the real manifestation all along. If you understood what I said in this story, in this journey, I want you to apply this technique. This is when manifestation gets faster and real. It's looks like magical, but it's not magical at all. If you understood finally my message, I want you to like, share and subscribe so you won't miss another manifestation video. I'll see you in my next video.